Hey YouTube, this is Other Purple One. Today I want to talk about just one news story, but it's a big news story. And 90% of Americans don't know about it, don't care about it, have their heads in the sand, and are not even worried about it. And this is the relationship with the United States and Russia. It has gotten a lot worse. We are aiding the Ukrainians in direct attacks on Russia proper. Now we're using drones. Well, we're not. They're using drones, but these drones are supplied by Europe, NATO, the United States. Ukraine is desperate. They have their backs against the wall, and Russia is pushing, and they have nothing to throw at the Russians. They don't have the manpower, and it doesn't matter if we give them more equipment. They don't have the personnel that are trained to run the equipment. So they need some long-range missiles. Russia has been very adamant. If you use long-range missiles, this will directly involve the United States and NATO. They have warned us numerous times. Now, we're still striking very deep into Russia by using drones. But if we go with missiles, it's going to be different. The missiles will be targeted. All the information on the targeting and the intel will be done by NATO, done by the United States. So the only thing that we won't be doing is pushing the button. We're going to supply the missile. We're going to supply the intel. We're going to supply the targeting data. We're going to supply everything. And probably we will be pushing the button just because this is very sophisticated. And you just can't have anyone do this. It takes training. So it will be U.S. or NATO troops directly firing into Russia. I have no doubt about that, just because of the sophistication of these missiles. So Russia's warned. They've gone to the UN and said if they do this, this could be a state of war between the U.S. and Europe. Russia has come out to say this will involve the U.S. We're not going to go and just attack Europe and military bases inside of Europe. It is going to involve attacking the U.S. proper, and I believe that. It will get our attention if a hypersonic missile hits in the United States. Now, it could do two things. The American people could rise up and say, hey, no, we don't want war. We just lost, a city. We just lost a couple blocks of a city. Or people could say, hey, we got to attack the Russians. And this would be just an escalation. And definitely would be World War III. So, Russia wants a buffer. And they have told them, if you use long range, the longer range weapons you use, the bigger a buffer we're going to have. So right now, if we use long-range missiles and aid Ukraine striking, Russia might take all of Ukraine because they need that buffer to push back. Russia's also come out with statements saying that they feel that eventually NATO will put U.S. and NATO troops, European troops, inside of Ukraine. Right now, there's mercenaries there, and the information I've gotten from people I know, there's U.S. personnel there. Now, these U.S. personnel are probably contractors, probably CIA, but there's definitely people that are getting a check from the federal government. Now, they could be U.S. Army, could be Marines, could be special ops people. These people are getting a check from Uncle Sam. So we are really in a proxy war with Russia right now. So I'm telling you this to mentally prepare you. So if things heat up in the next day, 2, 3 weeks, I don't know what's going to happen. But I want you to be mentally prepared that it could go a little bit hotter than it is. That way you can make some preparations. And that's all it is, making some preparations, not living in fear. But this is reality. The American mindset cannot grasp a war like this. All these other wars, we've fought countries that really had no air force. They had no air power. So it was very easy to control the battlefield. But look what they did in Afghanistan and Iraq. If you try to occupy territory, you will get punished, and punished really hard. And we've been punished. Our military is not what it was when I was in there a decade ago, for sure. And this is coming from people I know that actually know the facts. We have gone politically correct. And I recommend no one to join the military, National Guard, Army Reserve, any of the branches of the military. Do not do it. You're supporting a government that is warmongering, Now, when I was in, yes, they were probably warmongering too. So I'm not excusing myself. But when you're going to sign up for the military, you want to protect the United States people. You want to protect the Constitution. Right now, that's not happening. Right now, it is agenda that is being pushed. Not to protect the Constitution, not to protect the United States. It's to protect the New World Order. It's to push an agenda. And I hope and pray, if you have children that want to join the military, tell them not to. That's why there's probably a lot of guys out there that say, you know what, I want to be able to protect my family, but I also want to protect my community. I want to protect my state. I want to protect the United States. And this is a legitimate want and concern for guys. They want to be sheepdogs. They want to protect. So really there needs to be a substitution out there. And that gets into the local militia. When you say militia, everyone's like, no, that's a bad word. It's not a bad word. It's a constitutional word. It's a constitutional privilege we have as United States citizens to have a local militia. And we need to do that. If I was president, I would cut the military about 50% and push some resources into local and not even National Guard. Any National Guard would be under the 100% control of the governor. 100% control of the governor. He could do what he wants with the National Guard. He would have a directive so we could defend the United States. But we need to push locally. And a militia needs to be a self-defense force. It needs to be a firefighting force. So if you have large wildfires, hey, you have a lot of people. I would join today a militia if it was under control of the local people. I would volunteer my time to train people. I would volunteer my time to do search and rescue. I would volunteer my time if there's a missing child and we need to mobilize, in the area. There's good things that can come out of a local militia. Having the sheriff involved in that local militia is important too. That way he can make sure there's a standard. So if he can use you, you have to meet a standard. You just can't say, yeah, I want to help. There's a problem in my county. The sheriff needs to know you're physically fit, mentally fit. You're trained so you can do the task without becoming a victim yourself. You can't send people into a flood area that haven't had basic training how to deal with, even just not rushing water or swift water, just water rising. So there's a lot of things we could do in this country that would build patriotism, would build unity. We need unity in our country. We need unity in our community. We don't have it. We have two different sides, and these sides are so far apart. We could have physical violence in a year, in 2 years, if the election doesn't go right. I truly believe that because we're so far apart. We need to unite that so we don't have that problem. So I want you to be prepared. You need to look at your preps. Look at where you live. Look at having a mental plan. You might not have the best plan, but you can say, okay, if this happens, I need to go here. I need to do this. And now is the time to be mentally preparing for conflict with Russia. Not when it happens and then you start from scratch and say, what do I do? You need to prepare right now. So don't put your head in the sand, but don't panic. Don't be like, oh no, the sky is falling. Just have a plan. I don't know if you can hear the ducks. Let's see. There's my girls right there. So yeah, being a prepper, yeah, you can say doom and gloom, but it's also, I hope I'm getting that in a shot. It's awesome, awesome. Thanks for watching.